since you became my apostle. But there is much more for you to learn. You have been a blessing to your fellows, in that they have always been admonished by your consistent sincerity. When I have gone, it may be that your frankness will interfere with your getting along well with your brethren, both old and new. You should learn that the expression of even a good thought must be modulated in accordance with the intellectual status and spiritual development of the hearer. Sincerity is most serviceable in the work of the kingdom when it is wedded to discretion. If you would learn to work with your brethren, you might accomplish more permanent things. But if you find yourself going off in quest of those who think as you do, in that event, dedicate your life to proving that the God-knowing disciple can become a kingdom builder, even when alone in the world and wholly isolated from his fellow believers. I know you will be faithful to the end, and I will someday welcome you to the enlarged service of my kingdom on high. Then Nathanael spoke, asking Jesus this question: I have listened to your teaching ever since you first called me to the service of this kingdom, but I honestly cannot understand the full meaning of all you tell us. I do not know what to expect next, and I think most of my brethren are likewise perplexed, but they hesitate to confess their confusion. Can you help me? Jesus, putting his hand on Nathanael's shoulder, said, My friend, it is not strange that you should encounter perplexity in your attempt to grasp the meaning of my spiritual teachings, since you are so handicapped by your preconceptions of Jewish tradition, and so confused by your persistent tendency to interpret my gospel in accordance with the teachings of the scribes and Pharisees. I have taught you much by word of mouth, and I have lived my life among you. I have done all that can be done to enlighten your minds and liberate your souls, and what you have not been able to get from my teachings and my life, you must now prepare to acquire at the hand of that master of all teachers, actual experience. And in all of this new experience which now awaits you, I will go before you, and the Spirit of truth shall be with you. Fear not, that which you now fail to comprehend, the new teacher, when he has come, will reveal to you throughout the remainder of your life on earth, and on through your training in the eternal ages. And then the Master, turning to all of them, said, Be not dismayed that you fail to grasp the full meaning of the gospel. You are but finite mortal men, and that which I have taught you is infinite, divine, and eternal. Be patient and of good courage, since you have the eternal ages before you in which to continue your progressive attainment of the experience of becoming perfect, even as your Father in paradise is perfect. And then Jesus went over to Thomas, who, standing up, heard him say, Thomas, you have often lacked faith. However, when you have had your seasons with doubt, you have never lacked courage. I know well that the false prophets and spurious teachers will not deceive you. After I have gone, your brethren will the more appreciate your critical way of viewing new teachings. And when you all are scattered to the ends of the earth in the times to come, remember that you are still my ambassador. Dedicate your life to the great work of showing how the critical material mind of man can triumph over the inertia of intellectual doubting when faced by the demonstration of the manifestation of living truth as it operates in the experience of spirit-born men and women who yield the fruits of the Spirit in their lives, and who love one another, even as I have loved you. Thomas, I am glad you joined us, and I know after a short period of perplexity, you will go on in the service of the kingdom. Your doubts have perplexed your brethren, but they have never troubled me. I have confidence in you, and I will go before you even to the uttermost parts of the earth. Then the Master went over to Simon Peter, who stood up as Jesus addressed him. Peter, I know you love me, and that you will dedicate your life to the public proclamation of this gospel of the kingdom to Jew and Gentile. But I am distressed that your years of such close association with me have not done more to help you think before you speak. What experience must you pass through before you will learn to set a guard upon your lips? How much trouble have you made for us by your thoughtless speaking, by your presumptuous self-confidence? And you are destined to make much more trouble for yourself if you do not master this frailty. You know that your brethren love you in spite of this weakness, and you should also understand that this shortcoming in no way impairs my affection for you, but it lessens your usefulness and never ceases to make trouble for you. But you will undoubtedly receive great help from the experience you will pass through this very night. And what I now say to you, Simon Peter, I likewise say to all your brethren here assembled. This night you will all be in great danger of stumbling over me. You know it is written, the shepherd will be smitten, and the sheep will be scattered abroad. When I am absent, there is great danger that some of you will succumb to doubts and stumble because of what befalls me. But I promise you now that I will come back to you for a little while, and that I will then go before you into Galilee. Then said Peter, placing his hand on Jesus' shoulder, no matter if all my brethren should succumb to doubts because of you, I promise that I will not stumble over anything you may do. I will go with you, and if need be, die for you. As Peter stood there before his master, all a-tremble with intense emotion, and overflowing with genuine love for him, Jesus looked straight into his moistened eyes as he said, Peter, verily, verily, I say to you, this night the cock will not crow until you have denied me 3 or 4 times. And thus what you have failed to learn from peaceful association with me, you will learn through much trouble and many sorrows. And after you have really learned this needful lesson, you should strengthen your brethren, and go on living a life dedicated to preaching this gospel, though you may fall into prison, and perhaps follow me in paying the supreme price of loving service in the building of the Father's kingdom. But remember my promise. When I am raised up, I will tarry with you for a season before I go to the Father. And even this night will I make supplication to the Father, that he strengthen each of you, for that which you must now so soon pass through. I love you all with a love wherewith the Father loves me, and therefore should you henceforth love one another, even as I have loved you. And then, when they had sung a hymn, they departed for the camp on the Mount of Olives.